Select, and with that, we're going to toss it over to our casters for the call.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are into Champion Select for this rematch between SKT and G2. First ban coming through of this one is going to be the Taric from the side of SKT, so obviously not looking to play the Taric Sona here again, as Ryze is banned out by G2. You heard the Des talk about it. When you're red side, it really hurts to give that one away on first pick to blue.
Certainly does, and I think that a lot of lessons being learnt from the first time round, because we can see Sona Taric being taken away, but also just a lot more focus being put on the solo laners. They mentioned it on the desk. Morgana ban just made little to no sense at the best of time. Is a little bit flexible with some more mid lane picks being shown, but I think that that's an area that SKT certainly want to attack.
And depending on what comes out here for G2's last red side ban, if that's something like the Sylas, like there's the Rek'Sai, you get rid of virtually all of the flex picks. Like this could actually just be a game where all of these power picks that feel like they're coming up in every conversation, that they're dominating every single game, now don't exist.
This has to be a Jace pick, because we've seen all of the flex picks gone. We talked about the big 5 of them. 4 of them are gone. Jace only available. This must mean that G2 have something prepared for the pick.
And remember, it was Jace that was played by G2 the last time these teams went head-to-head. The Jace and Elise top lane and jungle combo made it so hard for SKT's top lane Sylas to do much of anything. You don't exactly have the best ults in the world to steal there, but Jace locked in here for Khan.
And now let's theorize some counters, because Malphite's been seen a little bit, especially in Korea. Then we had maybe Poppy being picked up as one as a tank.
Jake, I don't think the EU fans can take much more than this. Don't start saying Malphite.
You know, Poppy has been something that's been theorized that wins the matchup. You can survive potentially if you go something like an Ornn, but none of them are really wonders. Realhouse, he's much more of an aggressive top laner, not having picked up his champion yet. But just food for thought as a draft progresses.
How do you know he hasn't picked up his champion yet, my friend? This is
Okay.
G2.
Yeah.
This is G2. My bad.
Oh, and speaking of that, a lot of flashing back and forth. So one of the key things that I was kind of proposing in game number 1 is, you know, pay attention to what players kind of have their signature picks in the jungle. And one of the cool things about G2 was Jankos having the likes of the Karthus and the Elise. The Karthus, that one didn't work out, but his Elise looked very good. So I love the fact that Clid now has command of this champion, and it's so important to diversify your damage portfolio. When you have the likes of a Jace who's bringing all of that big bam burst damage, and then you have the Elise, like it's very hard for the top laner to itemize against having both the armor and the MR.
On top of that, just the best diving jungler in the game. I think it's a very fair statement to make. 1 to 3, able to drop aggro on turrets, brings a mixed damage as you mentioned, as well as good follow-up CC. So everything kind of available for Khan and Clid to dominate the top side of the map.
G2 still trying to hide their hand a bit in terms of what they're planning on these solo lanes. It does afford their opponents the opportunity to ban a couple more picks out, but getting the Varus Kench bottom lane, definitely nothing bad. We've seen the strength of this lane before. Jarvan also a very strong pick there in the jungle. Final pick for SKT that we didn't mention so far in the first half is the Braum there for support.
And I'm actually really curious if this means that they're going to ban the Lucian next on G2 side, because they see that the Braum is already out there. Because it feels like Perkz and Mickey have now kind of waved the white flag, or if they haven't yet, please boys do, because you're starting to feed a little bit down there in that bot lane, and Teddy and Mata are starting to play hyper aggressive. We saw in the last game against TL, they are ready to play kill-oriented lanes down there.
Yeah, and when I was watching the game with Papa Smithy yesterday and we saw Kalista picked up against TL and they were able to build that huge advantage, he was just so happy, because Teddy is a joy to watch on the champion. One of the best Kalista players in the world, I think it's very fair to say. I would say even better than Betty here at this tournament, so probably the best Kalista player here at the tournament as well. So, you know, getting rid of that, getting rid of a lot of the kill threat.
Oh, baby, it's locked in. That is Pyke, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is locked in on the same roster as Tahm Kench, and no, ladies and gentlemen, it was not with no time left, so we're going to see Champion Select remade.
So frustrating.
That's a Pyke.
Tell me, Pyke, Caps has played it, I think, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mickey has played it, Caps has played it. That said, whenever G2 locks in a champion like that, I'm like, probably Wander can play it.
Everybody can play it. That's what I love about G2 is you always have the conversation, well, who's the best ex-champion on the team, because they all play everything.
He's not even the best Pyke in the Beatles. No, the thing is I think that this is going to be the mid lane Pyke here. Now, that said, the last time we saw it, it was run in tandem with a funnel composition, but you don't have the same champions there. So we'll hold our breath. We'll see what this look is going to be, because I know you're excited about that.
I'm kind of petrified that it's a support Pyke and a top lane Tahm Kench all of a sudden, and that you're actually the person that called the counter pick.
What if I was 200 IQ the entire time, my friend? Well, SKT is going to grab themselves an Azir for the mid lane. They're going to grab themselves a Misfortune for bottom side. Teddy's going to be on that one, as the final pick for G2 Esports will be the LeBlanc. And funny enough, joking about the top lane Pyke, and sure, Wonder could probably play it. Well, you might see Wonder play it.
I want to just wait until 20 seconds because I've also seen Wonder play LeBlanc into the top lane. So I'm gonna look over at SKT. What do we got? We got a nice Misfortune down there. Again, very dominant 2v2. MF is such a difficult champion to deal with in the lane phase. If you haven't kept up with her build paths, her level scaling, she usually likes to max W now, and she'll start with W in lane and then abuse that movement speed through the strut to really get these cheeky pot shots off.
Yeah, you're going to see press the attack into Blade of the Ruined King, most of the time into pure lethality after that. Ultimate still packs a punch, but as you mentioned, it is that lane dominant focus. When you start changing up the draft, when you've got a Pyke top lane coming into Summoner's Rift, you abandon the early shut down the Pyke strategy that you thought was going to come down. You start camping around Teddy and Mata. They've got a great bottom lane to do it.
Solo queue players, brace yourselves for what is to come because G2 is once again rocking the meta boat, throwing Pyke up there into the top lane. Should be fun to see exactly how they're going to use this one. For those of you that did not watch the LEC playoffs, the final there, where G2 took down Origin in record time. Game number 2, we got to see some Pyke and Morgana bottom shenanigans, but this time around, he'll be on the opposite end of Summoner's Rift. This team is so much fun to watch, man.
They certainly are, and they always just have something spicy in store.
Here we go, the rematch of the battle for second place. So many people looking forward to seeing these two teams go head-to-head. The last time, many fans were shocked to see how quickly G2 took down SKT, how effectively they did it. But now it's SKT's chance for revenge to come in and find themselves another win here, bring themselves up to sitting in second place. Remember, G2 did drop that surprise game to Fongvu Buffalo earlier in the day today, so SKT has the chance to snatch that spot away.
And you can see full invade coming across, trying to secure a split map here for SK Telecom. However, G2 potentially looking to fire back here.
Now, I'm sure none of you are surprised to find out this is Wonder's first Pyke game of the year. It's Teddy's first Misfortune game as we get into a level 1 brawl. The flag thrown over the wall might as well be the white flag as everybody just surrenders and walks away.
Okay, so now I know a little bit too much about top lane Pyke because there's an Oceanic top laner called Pabu that came to All-Stars and he beat Rookie and he beat Faker and he beat Double Lift and he did all those great things.
The Pabu takedown of Faker. That was a pretty cool moment.
And then with his newfound fame, he came back and trolled all of Oceanic solo queue with like 380 Pyke games or something like that in the top lane. So
How's this Jace matchup?
I don't know, but obviously...
Yeah, can we get Pabu on here?
G2 think that there is something here because I've talked to Vedius and I've talked to Deficio and I've spoken to yourself, Froskuren, and one of the things that is applauded about this European Hope is their ability to find counterpicks where other people don't think there is one.
And in that same vein, they also ran a Vayne into an Akali and got absolutely blasted. So I'm just on the other side.
Creativity is a double-edged sword. That is absolutely a fact here. We'll see how this one plays out as Khan will, as you would expect, take control of this lane early on. Wonder if
He's working out.
He's like, all right, don't point the hammer at me. I'm just going to relax.
To be fair, of course, Jace gets to do that. Not many champions in League of Legends start with multiple abilities at level 1 because of how he can change between cannon and hammer form.
All right, I want to keep track of how the junglers decide to play this one as well, because Pyke is actually nasty for gank assists. The ability to have both the pull as well as the stun to follow up. When you have a jungler like a Jarvan, means you can do quite a lot with that one. As Klid and Jankos could get into a little bit of a scuffle here. Jankos wisely retreating because he recognizes neither of his solo lanes have any priority. That's not a fight you can win.
And obviously the importance here for Klid to get the Scuttle Crab is to allow Khan to be like, 1v1 me, bro. You said you were going to do it. I've got the Jace now. Like, it's my time to shine.
And this is what I like to see so much from junglers when you have
2v1 me, bro.
A ranged top laner like the Jace or like a Vayne or anything else in that line. Make sure you help them. Yes, they're a lane bully, but you have to be the one who keeps an eye out for the teacher and make sure these guys can take kids' lunch money all day long in the top.
And you can see the top lane gank potentially being set up because that wave's still yet to crash. So it's going to be a wave and a half plus a cannon coming underneath Wonder's turret. Now, he is level 3, has things like the invisibility available. So it looks like SKT will decide to back away.
This should be really obvious, though, when you slow stack a wave like this, that a dive is incoming. And here comes Klid.
He's just used everything.
Klid's making his way in. CC coming through, looking to find the damage. A little bit more will do it. Remember, Klid's able to drop the aggro, and there you go. Repel will dodge the turret shot, and SKT walks out clean. Caps is going to walk on over, but he's going to be taken pretty low himself. Will lose the clone there. Klid looking to make the flash into the cocoon play. Cap's seeing if maybe there's something else to do in retaliation. Clid taking an extra turret shot means he could be in some trouble here. Wonder coming around looking to maybe make something happen. Cap still in pursuit. Flash into the chains, and here comes the damage. Repel's taking you nowhere.
Nice job from Caps to be able to join the top side, but Faker looking for him now will force him away from the mid lane wave. And that is so many resources expended to try and get a cheesy counter pick ahead that I would say ultimately failed.
Yeah, and now the question is, does it get back into the game? What happens to Pyke now at this point? Is it just completely done?
Caps is looking to find some damage onto Faker here, recognizing how weak Azir is early on, trying to get some good trades. Wonder weaving that Bone Skewer in there to find the pull onto Calm, but not going to get a whole lot of damage out of it.
And you know Calm wants to win lane. He's gone back, he's got himself the double battle blades there in the door, and he's got himself a refillable potion as well. Gonna start stacking some longswords for himself. And I'll be interested to see now whether this is Clid. Hold that thought. Nope, no, we're good. Continue. We're good. Whether this is Clid now, just focusing on his misfortune lane, you know, trying to get Teddy and Marta in a winning position, or whether the continual camp takes effect.
And I do want to quickly peek in on Teddy. I was checking what he was maxing right now. He's currently level 3. He has 2 points in his W and 1 point into the Q, which is kind of interesting because normally you take the W and then your E, or at least one ability in E, because you make it rain the back caster creeps and then get them low enough that you can look for the double ups off of them.
And now I've actually seen this a little bit more in Korean solo queue becoming popular, where you just don't take E at all because it is such a mana drain that you actually just start taking points in QW the whole way up. And E is actually not taken until both skills are maxed out. Not really all that useful in a Braum lane either.
And as we're talking about this bottom lane between these two squads, let's remember that when they played the first time, it was actually a 2v2 kill onto Mata's Nautilus for first blood that Mata started. He goes in, gets himself punished. It's not a good spot to be, and G2 end up taking that one. I expect SKT to play more carefully this time around in the bottom lane, but they're looking to play more aggressively in the top side here yet again. Wonder underneath turret, but Jankos is there. A ward will spot him out.
That is so cool there from a top lane Pyke. He's basically a souped up Garen, and how he's able to re-get his health back. You know, Garen, he's got his passive, he takes some trades with you, he steps back, and he just comes back full health into the lane like 5 minutes later. Pyke literally just dodges back into Fog of War, and then comes back to the tower full health.
Sure, but if your counter pick is down 22 CS and
it's cool,
sitting under
Spawn,
each turret,
it's cool.
I will take the success of what is happening in top lane over the cool factor of running Garen in a comp game any day of the week.
Look at his gear back.
This is the difference between players who play MMOs and wear the gear that looks the coolest and the guy wearing a bunch of goofy stuff. He looks like a hobo, but he's got the best stats for the PvP. That's the difference between my two color commentators right now. But right now, we've also got to be worrying about Khan. Trying to get himself away here. Jankos goes for the flash knockup from the EQ combo. Not going to get it. Instead, going to be thrown into the cocoon. And the burst is there, and Khan picks up the second kill for SKT.
It's just a better read from SKT. They are reading Jankos like a book right now. They took the notes from game number 1. They're making sure that game number 2, it is not going to happen. If you turn off the nameplates, it looks like game 1 all over again, but it's SKT this time.
And gotta credit Marta, the support of SK Telecom. So much hype of the legendary shot caller coming across. Goes the spellbook. Knows it's an uninteractive lane bot. Well, now you can use it. You can get up top lane. Faker is the stay-at-home mid laner right now, just slowly accruing that CS advantage. This is just a great bait from the SKT lineup because they're all there first.
Yep, like you said, they've got the numbers advantage. Clid made sure he had the control ward and then just perfectly lands that cocoon and deletes someone from the map.
Not just well played by SKT, but a misplay by Jankos, not managing to get the knock-up portion with the flash there in his initiation, seals his fate.
And now you've got yourself a support top, Pyke, because he's down 2 kills, he's down half CS, he's starting to lose his turret. So I wonder what the bailout play is now. Can you get him around the map? Can you open up some of those roams? Because it's looking very ugly so far.
I mean, I've seen carry Pyke, I've seen support Pyke. It all builds the same stuff. He's still gonna kill people eventually.
Well, you would think, but right now he's in a pretty rough spot, and Clid's looking to make it even rougher. Wonder going in, not going to find the Bone Skewer, and now that all his spells have been used, it doesn't even matter. The CC is not required. Along came a spider and found another kill. Easy money there for SK.
Quick, someone pull up Grab's Twitter. What's the apology this time?
Oh no. This is really, like, to take the levity out of the situation, it's a little bit disappointing from a G2 perspective because they've lost their first game, you know, saying that they went for the top lane, they hadn't really practiced it all that much. This time around, you would think that the draft would have been nailed down a little bit more. They deliberately attacked the flex. They forced Khan towards his most played champion. He's a very good Jace player.
You knew it was coming.
He knew it was coming.
Yep.
This is a counter pick they have very much prepared, and it is in such a hole. Skill shots missed there, and he still died without any response.
Faker trying to fight 1v1 against Caps here in the mid lane. And I do want to point out, specifically because Froscure mentioned that all the Pikes always build the same stuff, we do see the Tiamat early on, because he needs some wave clear. He's like, well, I'm stuck under my turret the whole time. I might as well try to kill some of these things. So he's going for a farm.
Help me.
He's just trying to clear him out of the way. It's a rough way to be right now for Wonder in the top side. And look at Khan's inventory, 300 gold off of being able to complete the first lethality item.
So here's how this is gonna go. Anytime Jason and Elise land on Wonder, he's gonna pop like a balloon at this point. And I'm curious how many more attempts G2 are gonna throw up towards that top lane to dig this guy out of the hole that he has put himself into.
Because it's creating deficits elsewhere, and whilst right now Caps does have that kill to his name, so it would probably be equal gold, he's down 20 CS. He's starting to lose place in the mid lane. Top lane gang.
All right, here we go. There's some of that CC Wombo combo I'm talking about. This could be some good money coming in for the side of G2, but a nice flash away will deny that ulti kill from Pyke. That stops not only the normal kill gold, but the bonus you would get from being able to have the assist. And that's the shutdown credit coming in for Jankos.
But we can finally see how this is supposed to work. He knew he was going to get pushed in. Yeah, he's got the Tiamat, but you just make sure that you can get behind him, follow up with the stun. It makes easy CC for the flag and drag, and then hopefully that Pyke ult lands.
Now we might have a fight coming around Dragon.
SKT trying to go for the Mountain Drake. They will manage to secure that one. Chains of Corruption already going to be down, but that is a nice bullet time. Putting a lot of damage into the G2 health bars. Clid wanting to go after Caps. Going to have to settle for a nice plate of frog legs instead. Mickey goes to a watery grave, and SKT take the objective and a kill.
Yeah, but he saves his mid lane. A very good eat there by Mickey. But you just walk into a Dragon Pit after making a play on the other side of the map and get decimated. Lucky to only escape with one death. Want G2 to continue to double down around topside because fighting around Dragon without numbers can be risky.
And here's the thing, not a lot of people really count for the MF. You don't see her a lot in competitive play. Yeah, she was played a bit into Japan, but the LEC, she was invisible.
See if Wonder can make this one happen here again on the top side. Kind of going to be thrown underneath the turret, taking a lot of damage, and this will surely take him down, or will it? Jankos trying to catch up here. Caps wants to come in. He's got the mop and bucket. Janitor Caps, can you clean this one up? Over the wall goes Jankos. Khan still trying to get himself away. Using the stopwatch, that's not going to do it. Instead, just ends up wasting that very important cooldown. Won't get another one of those, and G2 finds yet another kill.
Yeah, and G2 are throwing the exact same punch repeatedly. They don't care how far Pyke was put down behind because he's a facilitator for the rest of his team to pick up these kills.
Taken out in trouble, potentially.
He's got help nearby. Mata making those rotations around the map. As you already mentioned earlier, Spawn, bottom lane wasn't exactly the most interactive thing in the world. He's pretty freed up to go around and do whatever he needs to do around the map. Blade of the Ruined King completed for both of these 80 carries so far, so those guys will hurt once we get into the team fights. And goes around from the side here, but Mickey Axe gonna be the one in some trouble. Stunned up, locked down, goes into the stopwatch, keeping himself alive, gonna be going golden. Mata trying to escape with his life, but here comes Caps, and he's got the electrocution for the kill. G2 looking to find even more now as Wonder closes in. Over the wall he goes, looking to maybe grab himself a bone skewer. 999, that's some damage on the enemy jungler. Make it 2. A double kill for the top laner. And ladies and gentlemen, the man is right back in this game. Confident target number 3. Can they get him? Chains are down. He's yoinked around, and there comes your ulti. Faker coming in now, looking to grab somebody on the back end of the fight. Wonder's going to be taken rather low. Couple more stabs will do it, but Faker can't quite make that happen. And G2 are right back in this game.
And who's laughing now? Wonder, like you said, right back into this game. He picked up 3 kills for himself right now, still down in CS, but certainly feeling very fat and happy with that goal.
Yeah, and this all starts on SKT's kind of terms. You can see Clid goes for the long play around, no vision, spots him out. This was a surprise, but at the end of the day, you're brawling against a comp that very much wants to brawl now. They've got themselves full of LeFlong, the Jarvan, and the Pyke. They're online already, and they just continue to run down SKT.
And that was a classic comparison of your team's stopwatch versus the other team's stopwatch. We saw Khan use one earlier for absolutely nothing, and you see Mickey X use one right there that results in so much going the way of G2. These are not just kills. Remember, the reason the gold swung so hard for these is because you're effectively getting double gold for each kill because they all came from a Pyke ultimate. That's 3 bags of your cut going over to these different players, and everybody's rich all of a sudden.
And G2 just sticking to the game plan. They need it to be bloody. They need it to be action-packed because at the end of the day, you're playing against something like an Azir that just scales so well. So they, you know, even though Wonder falls behind, continue to make plays around and continue trying to build him back into the game. And now we're right there.
It's also the genius of the rest of the composition. The fact that you have a LeBlanc, that you have a Varus and a Tahm Kench, where else can SKT really penetrate that onto the map? LeBlanc's mobility to keep her safe into the lane, as well as the fact that Mickey is just going to keep Perk safe.
You can see, again, jungler's bottom. Just sticking to the game plan, and Cap's looking to solo out Faker.
Not gonna find it though. Faker with some fancy feet, getting himself out of the way from some of the damage coming through from Caps there. Faker still wanting to get himself home. Has barrier if Caps tries to go in and make something happen here. Caps won't get it there. Very low on mana at this point as well. Probably won't be able to find this assassination attempt. But here comes the reinforcements. Abyssal Voyage going to be canceled. Mickey not wanting to go in any further, seeing Mata.
Yeah, great bullet time actually from Teddy to stop that ultimate. Of course, any damage registered is going to take it down. Yankos and cleared.
Yankos still looking to find that spider. There we go, but Khan's going to be here now as well. Abyssal Voyage coming back in. Remember, they didn't use it all the way before, and now SKT is going to be in the wrong spot yet again. From 0-2 to rampaging. Wonder is making this Pyke sing.
This mobility and hunting composition from G2, the reach that Pyke has, the reach that Jarvan has, that LeBlanc has, the ability for G2 to instantly be on top of you with so many members must just be suffocating to play against. You need to know where they are at every single split second, because suddenly there's like 3 to 4 to 5 people.
Because it's like, okay, we got Faker out. We're okay, we're just chilling. Okay, Yankos is engaging on us. Again, all of these members show up, and the resets, the execution, the ability to continue the chase seems to be what this G2 comp is built around.
And I love how confident G2 are in themselves as individuals and as a team. This is a squad that will go for aggressive plays, that will make moves that other teams are like, that's a 60-40, maybe we shouldn't do that. G2 says 60-40, that's 10 more in our favor than we need.
It's like what Spawn was talking about in game number 1 of our cast. It's this idea of the creativity, that they don't play standard League of Legends, that they will change up the tempo of the game, the course of the game, and they will force you to play reactive. They will force you to play on their terms.
And now how do SKT wrest control of that back in their favor? Because we saw, you know, some crazy comps come out in the LCK finals. Griffin really chucked the kitchen sink at SKT and they withstood it. They were able to scale. They played a lot of similar compositions, you know, control mages with some early game flair. And they got themselves to the point of the game where they were very, very comfortable. This game started in a similar flavor, but has now devolved into utter chaos. And SKT need to pull it back from the brink.
SKT need to stabilize this a little bit. The lead is growing. It's still not astronomical yet, 1,500 gold, but G2 are going for second Drake. It's just an ocean. Laning phase is already over. SKT deems that not worth contesting.
And this is kind of where SKT's composition can try to wrestle some control back over big monster objectives. Now, on an open map, I'm still going to give it to G2's comp, because again, this kind of hit and run hunting style is really terrifying to deal with. But hold on.
Oh, Caps is going to be deleted there. The Shuriman soldiers coming in to make sure of that.
But in Faker, we trust. And he's still in something like an Azir, and with that team fighting prowess of an Azir and a Misfortune, it's still very scary.
I actually think Caps thought he was baiting there, because you could see Perks and Mickey heading up into top fog of war, thought the Abyssal Voyage again was going to be able to swing that in unfair favors, but the amount of damage that came out caught him off guard. Once again, bullet time trying to just keep this mid lane turret up.
And sure enough, it will. Easy wave clear tool there for the side of SKT to protect that mid lane turret. Remember, they are the only team with a turret here so far. G2 not yet able to claim one of their own. And talking about Faker being the guy that you trust in, being the one that you can always count on to be that dude who will put the team on his back. We heard from him before this tournament started saying he was disappointed with Korea's performance last year. The fact that he didn't get to participate in Worlds, and then Korea has their worst performance ever, you know he's got something to prove.
And the unfortunate reality is that Korea is always going to be disappointed with their performance unless they're first. You know, the stakes are just that high for them. So at this moment, I'm also disappointed with SKT's performance at this tournament. You're not first again.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with always being the best. Best becomes the expectation, and the rest just becomes disappointment. But Faker would love to bring his team back to where they want to be, back to that former glory. But G2, this team from Europe, redefining how League of Legends is played, redefining what you should and should not be thinking about for playing. Imagination is one hell of a drug, and G2 are the ones to show SKT exactly how potent that could be. Faker keeping himself alive with the Shurima shot.
And you can see once again, Mickey just cheating into Fog of War, trying to join this play, trying to put pressure on the Azir in the side lane. Faker in unfamiliar territory. Instead, they catch out Mata.
Mata will get himself away, not too worried about it. Gold dead even here, 18.5 minutes into this game.
But it's these situations on this type of map that G2's composition really wants. If you're getting to kind of pull SKT to respond through trying to cut through their own jungle, that's when G2 kind of heads you off at the pass and finds you.
And Herald's going to be pretty key for this comp because it's so hard to push into the Misfortune. You can see expending bullet time to keep that turret up and available. Well, one way to do it is to take yourself that Herald. Looks like SKT want to fight it.
G2 will secure the Herald for themselves. Jankos making sure to grab the eye before they get out of town. Accelerated Shock Blast, not going to find any health bars there, but SKT now have priority over the mid lane. We'll see if maybe they can push up here, look to take this tier 1 turret. Trying to find some damage now onto Wonder off to the side. Won't be able to land that. Accelerated Shock Blast again, not going to find the mark. Cap's going in for a little bit of poke, taking some in return though, and SKT have to back away.
You can see the value these teams are placing on the mid lane tier 1s with how this game is playing out. If you can keep it off, you get to take the shortest way around the map for SKT. On the flip side for G2, they don't want to get pushed into their tier 2 and have to try and wrestle control of it. So both teams expending very valuable resources in teleports, in Tahm Kench's ult, to be able to fight over this positioning.
But one of these teams does have the Rift Herald, and that's going to be like the key factor here. If you can get a good Rift Herald, if you can break down this turret, again, this is exactly what G2 want. They want more encroaching darkness on SKT's map so they can start very quickly making plays around exhausted vision lines. This comp moves so fast that even if SKT do have wards, it could start a play on the bottom side of the map and be very quickly onto the dark top side of the map.
Well, here we go. Shelly summoned up in the mid lane. Tier 1 turret still standing with about 80% HP. Chains of Corruption fired off from Perks. Make their way onto Mata. He's going to be pulled forward by Wonder, but nothing really else they can do, and the Rift Herald finds very little success.
But Cap still gets to be able to push in topside because SKT need to continue to deploy towards that mid lane. Faker can no longer go with him in this side lane. They're going to let it fall. They're going to try and look to contest around the Infernal Drake that's coming up.
Wonder trying to grab the pull there onto Faker. Will move him a little bit forward, but that's not going to be enough. And SKT will strike back. They'll find their third turret of the game. That's the last link in that outer turret chain, now shattered on the side of G2.
And you applaud the craftiness of the veterans. This game looked like it was so heavily SKT favored. It started to be brought back, but you can see now SKT not playing G2's games anymore. They've said no, something that, you know, TL struggled to do last game, and trying to get it back on their terms.
Yeah, their ability to pump the brakes there and now gain so much access over this jungle. And as long as they can keep this controlled, keep this slower pace, set up the fights that they want to take with the Azir. Because remember, you need to rotate him into areas, make sure that he can get his sand soldiers out, and start outputting a lot of his big DPS.
That being said, you've got to be so careful up against a reset champion like Pyke when you're in these corridors, when you're in these spots where somebody in the wrong position could lead to everybody all of a sudden falling down. SKT have priority over the Infernal Drake, and they'll just blast it away in the matter of seconds. It's going to be a nice damage bonus onto them as the game moves forward. Cap now getting himself back to safety as SKT continue to stay together as 5. Cons pulled forward. Cap's looking to find some damage. Clay's going to be the one who eats that one. Heal coming out there from Mata. Yanko's going to be in a bad spot. Goes Golden into the stopwatch. Perk's going to be taking some damage from Faker. It's a 1-for-0 for SKT. They're able to grab the kill onto the G2 jungler, but won't look for anything else.
So well done there from SKT. It felt like that they had been pushed off of their own mid lane tower, but Faker especially able to get around that corner and apply pressure to Perks so that there was no follow-up damage when G2 decided to dive too deep.
Man, that was just great offensive play from Faker because it looked like the collapse was going to be there, and he put himself ahead of 3 G2 members. Look at them being corralled back towards this choke point where Jankos is. Remember, so much mobility to be able to join the fight. Jankos goes in, immediate stopwatch keeps him safe, and then Faker zones away the entirety of the G2 backup. Very nicely done from Faker and Mata there.
And that's so much of what these team fights can come down to. Just these small things that aren't even part of the main fight, right? Yanko's death, that was the main thing the cam was on during that entire scene. But if Faker's not right there, if Faker's not using his flash to reposition and get out of the way of the counterattack, things could go very, very differently. And that's what you expect from SKT. That's what you expect from a team that has the reputation of being the most successful of all time.
Now, while all of that did happen, the mid lane tower did go down. Perks expended his TP for that. And again, this is now the map position that they want. So there's these windows before Faker can really take over this game on the Azir, because that Azir damage, that's only going to get worse from here. He's not even really powerful at this point in the game.
Right.
So G2, use your window.
Lid's gonna find himself face to face with Caps here. Only takes a little bit of damage and still gets himself away.
They're going for it.
Wonder's moving in. It's the Abyssal Voyage collapse. Faker's able to find that Emperor's Divide, keeping himself alive, but only for a moment. Perkz grabbing the kill, and it's worth twice the money just because Wonder was there to mark the spot with the X. Now he's looking to make it too. Clid trying to skritter himself away here, but I don't think that Spider's gonna be alive too much longer. Repel, but there's nothing to come down to except your own death. Caps makes sure he gets the money on that one, and G2 find 2.
And the support members of G2 able to keep the main squad of SKT away. That means 2 people dead. Look for Baron.
But now Mata, he's gonna be dead too. Rooted up, beaten down, a little bit more damage to take him out. It's running away pretty fast. Surely he doesn't get away from this. Okay, Caps finishes that one off, and that means G2 is over onto the Baron. They know that they don't need everyone there. You've got a Varus that has Rage Blade plus Blade of the Ruined King. Caps and Wonder can move back over towards the mid lane to make sure you don't lose the tier 2 for free in the meantime. However, Wonder's gonna be introduced to Hammer Time. Khan makes sure of that one, as he'll continue auto-attacking the mid lane tier 2 here. Teddy clearing out the wave, trying to make sure that nothing interrupts them from taking this tier 2. However, the Baron is finished off quickly enough that now he has to retreat. Cap's still looking to maybe make a kill happen. Nope. Poofs right back away.
I mean, frankly, it's table scraps there for SKT. The fact that they managed to get a kill and siege onto that mid lane tower. I'll hold it, though. Mickey, maybe something more?
Mickey in some trouble. That's at least going to buy SKT some time. It's going to stop G2 from grouping up and using this Baron as effectively as they'd like.
Table scraps and a frog there, but ultimately still a main takeaway for G2, having access to that Baron, and again, a composition that can very easily apply the Baron buff in every single lane.
And this starts with Faker being in the longest lane possible. He doesn't have teleport, he can't go bottom split there. But the problem is that Khan doesn't either, so whilst they're playing him in the shorter lane, no real way to catch up to the mobility of this team. Tom Kent, you know, having a look at the pike, the ability to just get around terrain so quickly. You generate 2 picks, you turn the map into darkness, they have to start face checking, and it just creates errors.
We've still got ourselves a really close game right now. Despite the fact that G2 have the Baron, the gold lead is still only about 1,500. We'll see if they can make that a much bigger deal with this Baron power play. They've still got 2 minutes left on the buff, and Faker just had to go back to base.
Yeah, and it's also no access to Teddy's cooldown there. He doesn't have the bullet time, which means that finally G2 can approach a tower. They pushed out Azir, Teddy doesn't have bullet time, and it's theirs.
Well, G2's not just approaching a tower, they're now knocking on the door to the base itself. Inhibitor turret under siege. Teddy gonna be taking a lot of damage, keeping himself alive with the heal. SKT counterattacking, gonna be taking Yanko's very low there. Perkz gonna be getting hit by soldier after soldier. Wonder's still hanging out in this brush off to the side. Good check there from Khan. Recognizing the fact that that assassin likely wants to always be on the flank, he'll take him out of the picture, and G2's on the retreat.
And now I'm intrigued to see how G2 try and close out this game, because it's so hard to play a single lane against something like an Azir. You throw a Misfortune and a Braum in there, it just becomes more difficult. But what we've seen is that they want to group up, they want to generate pick. They are better when they are all 5 members on the same screen, so it will be maybe Caps is a split pushing threat that they're looking for, but it'll be interesting to see how they actually close this one out.
Yeah, it's about the tempo. You know, if SKT make a mistake and G2 can find them, rip them apart, and then snowball that into objectives, that's great. But again, there's a huge window where SKT can pump the brakes, slow down the pace of the game, and kind of hold that last bastion of hope on their inhib, because it is more difficult to siege without Baron. And then this game starts becoming about the Elder, about the second Baron, about big team fights where G2 can get a hold of SKT.
But for now, it should be about taking all the free gold on the map, right? You've got 2 tier turrets out of bottom lane. I'm not looking to defend that if I'm SKT, although Khan has stuck around here and might be in some trouble.
Khan underneath the turret, 1 versus 2. Yanko's trying to initiate there, but a good flash from Khan to escape the follow-up stun from Wonder means he is going to stay alive for now. However, help is still a way away, and that means it's too dangerous to stick around underneath the tier 1, especially with Caps moving around in here. That's another turret secured by the side of G2, brings him up to 4 total, bringing that lead almost up to 3,000 gold. TP coming into the bottom side. We're going to use that last 30 seconds of the Baron buff. Faker makes his way into the fight now. Khan going to be thrown up into the air. Redemption coming down. It's a double kill over to Wonder immediately. Bullet time will not be enough, and G2 grabbing 2 for free there should be their green light to take out this tier 2.
And you saw the confidence of which Jankos just stepped forward right there, started the fight on the Jarvan, and that was the mistake from SKT. It doesn't mean the base, but again, it means another objective, a bit more gold into the pockets.
And the ability to expend crucial cooldowns to generate these fights is so impressive from G2. That was once again a teleport into an immediate ultimate. Khan caught out of position. Marta tries to save him. Cannot. They both fall down. SKT are reeling from this. You can see it's actually Khan in the brush, trying to recall, trying to position aggressively, gets tagged up. Back-to-back mistakes from the top laner of SKT, and G2 railed them for it.
And you can see this fight right here. They're able to find those kills with the Pyke ultimate. Pyke currently has 6 kills, 5 assists, 11 put together. Let's say only half of those are from the ultimate. That is still 1,800 bonus gold, which is almost half your lead. People underestimate and even forget about how much money this can provide for your team, and it's a huge reason why they were able to bounce back after the poor start.
And this is a reminder that this Pyke can be flexed in triple positions. I don't know if Jankos can play it. Maybe it's a possible quadra position on this G2
80
roster.
carry Pyke. Let's go penta position Pyke.
Exactly, and it's so devastating to champion. Again, he's not even the best Pyke player in G2's lineup.
Well, G2 now has themselves a nice 4,000 gold lead. They'll look to take down this last tier 2 turret standing in the top lane on the side of SKT. After that, it's base and base alone. They could be able to break that one open with the next Baron spawning here in about 1 minute. Both sides with 2 Drakes under the belt here as well. Take a look at the items coming online. Faker's up to 3 fully completed items plus the boots. The Azir's getting towards that danger point where just a couple of moments with some Sand Soldiers can shred anyone.
But you need to get there first. You need the ability to set up, gain control of the map. How do you do that? Look at all the vision that is currently in G2's favor. And then when you face check into a pipe, when you're face checking into things like Tahm Kench, it's just so scary. The lights are out on Summoner's Rift right now. So yes, Fake is strong, but where can he stand and deliver at a team fight? Because they're just going to get picked off. This is guerrilla warfare right now from G2.
And it feels like it means that they're going to be held at the base gates here, that they're just going to have to wait for G2 to eat up more and more of this map. They'd have to work very hard collectively as a team to even approach into this Baron area, but there's always that last hope defense there. You know that they're going to have to come to your Nexus, and that could be the final spot for SKT.
Well, SKT does not want to concede a Baron for free. They know it's spawning in about 15 seconds. They want to make something happen here. Mickey getting himself away, has to pop the redemption just to make sure that SKT doesn't want to follow it any further. Wonder's in the bottom side, providing a split push threat. He has his TP ready to go should a fight break out.
Pentaflex, split pusher, assassin, he's got it all.
Khan is
1v1 artist.
Yeah, honestly, he took Khan down to about half HP there. And remember, Wonder does a lot of damage with that ultimate. You've got to be so careful about the threshold. Jankos into the middle now. Faker looking to keep himself alive. Caps over the wall, trying to find the damage onto Teddy. Clid looking to find the damage in return onto Wonder. Going to be bursting him down. Caps barely getting himself away. G2 has already lost one, and it's a pretty important member. SKT have won the fight so far, and they want to see if there's any more they might be able to find. Lana wants to lead the charge. Shield is up, trying to maintain that unbreakable. Bullet time comes out, but a nice flash away, along with the cleanse from Mickey X. Means that he's not going to die today, not yet. Perks will take down that Shurima Sun Disc there in the mid lane, and SKT will walk away with their minor victory.
And the chunk onto Khan looked to be the sign there for G2 to try and start another one of those team fights. And Jankos' job is to just pop everything and fly into the backline. But the positioning and the summoner spells this time from SKT utilized much better. They actually win the trade.
And on the end, I thought it was going to be a breath of fresh air for SKT, but G2 immediately turned to Baron.
G2 going after Baron as Clid is forced to go into the repel. You kill that jungler, you're in a good spot, and G2 will send their mid laner on a killing spree. They're bringing in the TP from Wonder. They realize they now might be in a spot to potentially just win this game right here. Khan is taken out. Faker is isolated. He goes in to find himself a single kill. He won't be able to find a second. Caps now has to try to just avoid the damage follow-up there from Teddy. 2 left alive on the side of SKT. G2 with multiple members still ready to go. Wonder coming around from the side. He has the ulti ready, and he's found his way onto Teddy. The damage comes down, and X marks the spot!
The thing is that G2 flipped the script. You look at that from SKT's perspective, they're like, we have the Scuttle Crab, we have the mid lane priority, we can back off this Baron. G2 know that creativity, the fact that they throw fundamental League of Legends out the window. This isn't about the rules, this is about breaking them.
And we've been talking so long about SKT scaling up and the inevitability of Azir, but when G2 keep just forcing things like this is what happens.
And there's a stopwatch available on Clid. Not used there. Falls down. Doesn't mean there's an overcommit. And then the go button hit immediately. Get everyone in there. It looks rough. Faker with a very nice slide into multiple members. But he is really trying to hold the base solo at the moment. Everyone else from SKT being chased away, and G2 continue to find advantages.
And I want to talk about something abstract about this Pyke pick. Because of his ability and his kill pressure, since he got so much gold in that top lane, he started this fight, had about 25% health. When he finally jumps on Teddy, he's almost back to full health. Against a Korean team who is known for their control, who is known for their vision, it's just so exhausting because of how long Pyke can stay in these fights, how long Pyke can stay on a map, and how many times he can continuously pressure things. and when he doesn't have to reset like a natural champion.
And as G2's creativity has not only got them back in the game after a bad start, but continued to build a lead all the way through, I'm remembering back to SKT in their finals of the LCK just this split, playing against Griffin, playing against creativity in the form of the Taliyah Pantheon, falling behind early, but then saying, okay, we've got the more traditional comp, we can outscale, we'll win later, and sure enough, they did. That game one, they were behind for a long time, and they came back and won, but G2 is coming across as a whole different monster right now. They're not just creative in draft, and then they run out of gas. They are creative from start to finish until a Nexus pops, and right now, SKT is getting dangerously close to that point.
And they're courageous enough to stick to the plan. You know, it didn't work early, but it's working now. Continuing to attack multiple styles of the base, trying to force SKT into a rare mistake.
SKT still defending here. 4 men topside. Tier 3 turret there, down to about 1/3. Tier 3 turret in the mid lane, destroyed by Jankos and Caps put together. Bottom side still under siege by Wunder. Faker is down to 1/3 HP from his fight against Wunder, and now he has to heal up. SKT lose their mid lane inhib. The other inhibitors will soon be under siege, and SKT is forced into an impossible choice. When, where, how do you fight? If you don't, G2 will simply win the game. Khan nearly killed instantly by Caps, already back into the spawn platform. Not even a chance to participate in the battle. 2 inhibs down. Third one is now the target for the side of G2. Caps maintaining pressure and Baron buffs on the other end of the base, making sure SKT can never focus their thoughts on one single place for too long. G2 still looking for more. Wunder in that Phantom dive, trying to find something. Khan's gonna be taken down! Caps goes unstoppable, and G2 is surely looking for the win right now. Inhibitor number 3 under siege, Mana trying to get himself away. Glacial Fissure to stay alive, but the damage still comes through. Clid finally popping the stopwatch, but it's all too little, all too late, and G2 are on to the Nexus turrets. Those are down. Faker makes his stand, but he'll be buried beneath the X. G2 will repeat the success of the first round robin and take down SKT.
This tournament was supposed to be the return to glory of the LCK lineup. SKT coming in to defend it, but in back-to-back games now, the European hopes have drafted creatively and destroyed SK Telecom.
It's not a best of 5. It is just 2 best of 1s, but it is a very dominant showing for G2. They are clearly the second best team at this tournament, and now the question should be asked, is a